Hello and welcome back to another episode of MTDCNC North America. Today I'm with my friend Lloyd and we're going to learn a bit more about this incredible machine we're standing in front of. And Lloyd being the expert, 25 years working with VOLLMER, we get to learn how exactly this machine works. Lloyd, thank you for being here and thank you for sharing this machine with us.
Thank you very much for having me. So this is our service center and production center for overnight running. What this machine's meant for is to have a little bit less workforce and for your machine to be capable of running overnight 24/7, 7 days a week. So there's no downtime and it's less expensive to operate the equipment. For training applications on this machine, it's fairly simple. If you have an existing VOLLMER, the functionality and operation is very similar. To train somebody on this with an existing VOLLMER, either a standalone machine, it takes about 3 to 4 days, maybe max, to actually train somebody how to use the loader and the grinder at the same time. It's a versatile machine. You can have different options added to it later down the road, so you don't have to have that big expense to begin with. You can add the metalworking, multi-surface, and hollow face attachment to this machine at a later date.
I like that. And this is primarily saws.
Correct.
Right.
Nothing more than that.
Nothing more than that. And when you're on the market right now, there's not a whole lot of alternatives out there. I mean, granted, VOLLMER is a German-made, precise, rigid machine, but as far as alternatives, I mean, this is the machine to go to, right?
Correct. There's nothing else really out there like this, and this machine's been around since 1998. The loader, and then the changing of one generation to the next. So this is the third generation of this machine. So it has the capability of measuring a lot more than the first generation. So
if I've had a machine previous to this one, I can adapt probably almost overnight, it would feel like. But if I'm a new customer looking to get into the saw blade industry, how easy would it be for me to understand this VOLLMER machine?
in the beginning, if you've only had manual operated machines, it's going to be a little bit difficult because you're just not used to the computerized section of the machine. So normally it's about a week for training, and then you also get a second week. So normally new customers get 2 weeks training. Existing customers that may have first generation of this may only need a week's worth of training. So it all depends on where the customer's at in their own operation facility. So
I've seen the same thing with iPhones and Samsungs and all the smartphones out there, right? Is that adaptability to what's new with a computer. And
correct.
So that's pretty standard, I'd say, but the ability to learn it, that's, I mean, you guys have made it simple. I've played with the software a little bit as well. Obviously, there's a little bit that goes along with it. I'd like to touch base a little bit more about what you talked about when you said you can buy one component, then add on something new. What are some of the additions, or let's say, what's the basic package, and what are some of the things that we can add to that package in the long run?
Well, basic package is you have your base loader and your base machine, which means you have no additional software, no additional hardware on the machine to either do metalworking, chip breaking, or hollow face two geometries. So that can be added on at a later date. So if it's not in your budget at that point in time, you can add it a year later. Same thing with a loader. If you have like this one here is a 5-station loader, you can always add another machine to it later. And if you have a 7-station loader, you can add 2 more machines to it.
So it's just, it's just more capacity to do the same thing, right?
Yeah, without spending more money on another loader and so on. Yeah.
That makes sense. And so ultimately what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a reliable, precise, lights out machine for someone to just kind of program the machine, walk away, let it do its job, and come back to some finished parts.
Correct. So that way you don't have anything, so you can run it over the weekend. I mean, that's basically what it's meant for, and lights out. So
yeah, well, training, software, all understood. German company, all understood. For those of you who are in the saw blade industry, this is a fantastic machine from VOLLMER. Really nothing else like it out there on the market. I highly recommend you give these guys a look. VOLLMER-group.com, and you can give them a shout. This is my friend Lloyd. Lloyd, thank you so much for being a part of MTDCNC.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.